Well, Coach, welcome to Blacksburg. It's nice to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. I'm very excited. It's a good time for me and my family.
What attracted you about coming to Virginia Tech? What was it about this place?
Well, when you look at what Virginia Tech has been able to do over the last 20 years, it kind of speaks for itself. This place is special, the football's special, and getting to know the people around here just a little bit, you can tell why people are crazy here about this football team, and it's for a good reason. I grew up watching these guys when I was in high school, and you watch the Thursday night games, and when we were in college, and we'd sit and watch them, and I've always kind of had an appreciation for what this place has been about.
You also got a chance to coach against the Hokies, so I'm very curious about your perspective now as a guy that had to scheme and coach against Tech, now joining the staff.
It's cool, you know. I think that you got a feel of how they were. I watched the whole season of their defense when I was there and at Stanford, and they have a lot of good athletes, as they always have, and I can't wait to kind of get around these guys and see what they're about. But when you look at the receivers, and generally over the years, they've had big, strong, fast guys, and it's really no different. I'm looking at the roster, and I haven't had a chance to meet with these guys, but I can't wait because I'm just excited to talk to these guys, and I hear there's loads of potential, young guys that just need a little bit of development, and I can't wait to get with those guys.
All right, if you could describe your coaching philosophy, what is it?
The first thing is competition. Day in and day out, you're going to compete with yourself, with the other guys in the room, with the defensive backs, and then generally against everybody else in the country. And it's kind of always been a philosophy of mine. If you think you're working hard, you're probably not. You know you're working hard, and everyone else in the country is working. It's what are you going to do extra that those guys aren't willing to do? And I think starting with that mentality, we'll get the guys in the right place. And we get out to practice, and we get out there running around, and the heat's on a little bit. I can't wait to see how those guys respond, because it's going to be hard, it's going to be strenuous, but that's football. And until they change football to 7-on-7, football is going to be tough, and you're going to be sore, and you're going to be tired, and that's what it's about. And it's about who's going to be in the best shape and who can last the longest.
Is that how a walk-on earns a scholarship and an undrafted free agent has a long NFL career?
Absolutely. You better outwork everybody. You better show that you're smarter than everybody. You better show you're just as tough as anybody out there. And, you know, as a walk-on, as an undrafted guy, you have less chances as a guy who's a scholarship guy or a guy who's drafted. And you understand that, and you earn those chances. And I think that my mentality all along has been, don't cut yourself. And I think that was kind of in the pros, is you better make them make the hard decision. And for 5 years, I was able to stay on the right side of that line in the NFL. And I tell you what, it was a great time, and I'll never forget that time, but I'm glad to be coaching. I'm glad to be able to give a little knowledge to these guys, and I hope that they respond the right way.
Had you known Scott, and what's your thoughts on working with him?
I had known him, and we've gotten to know each other since we both accepted the position here. And he's a great coach. We kind of come from the same school of thought on a lot of things. And over the next few weeks, we're going to get together and talk about some of the past game things, so I can get familiar with what he likes and how he wants it taught, and I can kind of tell him how I've taught it in the past or how I've known it in the past, and we can kind of get ourselves on the same page. And I can't wait to work with him, because he's got a lot of great ideas and some pretty cool stuff that I think that the players are going to like.
I think Virginia Tech fans and a lot of us internally gained a lot of respect for Stanford and the Stanford kid. You know, obviously guys like Luck and Taylor, but in general, the kind of kid that Stanford attracts, I think, is the kind of kid just about any school would want. How do you get those kids here?
Well, I think you got to sell them on the academics. You got to sell them that, hey, this place, it can be academically oriented to you. And when you look at the group of guys here, I'm sure there are some very good students, and I'm sure there are some guys that are doing the right things on and off campus, on campus, all those different things. But you have to sell it that, hey, this is what the program's about. The program's about getting good kids that want to do the right things and that are really good, tough football players. And that's the challenge. And you want to keep the kids in state here, and you want to keep the kids from D.C. You want to get them to come over here, and I think you got to start there. But I can't wait to get my hands on some of these guys and see what they're about and see how they work.
All right, if you could describe your perfect receiver, you're at a high school game or you're at a camp, what are you looking for?
Megatron.
Megatron.
Who's better? No, but
with the unlikely possibility of that occurring.
No, I like big guys, but I don't think you have to be a 6'4", 6'5" guy. But I think that a kid who can run well enough, who's competitive as all get out, who catches the ball when it's thrown to him, and who will block downfield, we can go. And I think that there's kids that have that ability, and you can see it right away. And there's other kids where you kind of know it's there, and you got to get it out of them. And I think that there's guys on this campus that are really talented and guys that can really get it done. And I can't wait to coach these guys, and can't wait to get on the trail and look at some of these young guys. But I think you want a kid that really is competitive, but will do the little things. So that means he's not selfish.
Ready to live in a college town?
Absolutely.
True college town.
I haven't done it since I was in college, so I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. The people here have been great, and I can't wait to get out and meet some more people and get around this fan base, because the Hokie Nation is unbelievable. They're great people that expect greatness, and I expect greatness, so I think we're going to get along just fine.